most enjoyable part of this job is probably just finding out what people are like once you turn on the mic and see how much they change from actual, like when you're just like in person with them. Because most of the people I interviewed, I actually knew them, and it was just fascinating how much they got, like how nervous they would get and whatnot.
The most enjoyable part of this job for me is having the chance to go around and interview all sorts of experts in different sort of environmentally related fields in the Lillooet area. They're so passionate about what they do, whether it be bird experts or plant experts. It's so enjoyable to talk to them and learn about what they do.
I wouldn't necessarily say that there's really any hard parts to this job, but I guess like most tedious part of this job is all the editing you have to do, and who would have thought like on a 30-minute episode it would take a week to do all the editing.
I would say the hardest part of this job is having to sit down and listen to the same clip of the same interview over and over again to edit it so it gets just right, getting rid of little glitches in the sound, but also figuring out what to cut and what to keep. Often interviews are really good, but you still have to cut stuff because of the timeline, and that can be really challenging.
Like I said, it's just the amount of editing that goes into the process of this documentary, and like how much work it takes to just put it together like a 30-minute episode. It's just outstanding, like all this work and just for 30 minutes.
One thing I've learned about radio production documentary making is that editing can really change the tone and feel of the piece. It's not just the interview, but it's amazing how even getting rid of people's individual tics, their ums, their ahs, can really change how people perceive those people. And sometimes you don't always even want to get rid of all of them because it can change sort of, their character. It can lose certain aspects. So it's quite a delicate balance, actually, I find, in the editing process, is what I've learned.
One thing I learned about environmental work doing this job is just like, well, I got it from my interview I did with Vivian Birch-Jones. It was just fascinating how much a little brownback can eat in its first hour of feeding, which is like up to 500 mosquitoes, and just blew my mind.
One thing I've learned about environmental work as a result of this job is how much different bird species and plant species can be indicators of broader ecosystem health. The birds that you see when you're out walking the forest and the plants you see can really indicate what's happened in that site in the past and what's going on there now and how healthy it is. It's quite amazing, really.
Absolutely, I would love to do some more radio documentary. Back in high school, I did a little bit of radio DJing, and I think I'd actually be a little more interested in DJing because I just always had like a passion for music, and I loved playing music, and if I got paid for it, that'd be even better.
I would definitely be interested in doing more radio production documentaries. It's such a fascinating medium for telling stories, really. And in my past, even a number of years ago, I thought about studying radio broadcasting, and I never did, and now I've sort of almost rekindled that passion. And if I could be paid for it, that would be even better.
In the spring of this year, 2015, the Community Radio Fund of Canada sent out email to community stations all over Canada informing them of their Youth on Air project and the opportunity it presented to do some in-house production hiring young people to do the work, and so here at Radio Lillooet we decided to give it a try. We wanted to kind of stretch ourselves a little bit in terms of producing some pre-recorded programming work, and also wanted to test our capacity to run an employment program like this, one of very limited scope and limited time period. But we decided it was worth it, and somewhat to our amazement, we received the full amount of funding that we applied for. Working on this project this summer has been a real pleasure for me. It's been fun to work with Leif and Fraser, get to know them, and also to watch as they came in from not really necessarily knowing what they were going to be doing to within a few days having a pretty clear idea of it, and to watch them pick up the interviewing techniques and the editing techniques. Sound editing I had done a fair amount before. By pretty much the end of the first week of the project, these guys they knew tricks that I did not know already, and so we've been kind of learning from each other since. I guess the most difficult part about this program, running this program, has just been making decisions along the way, creative decisions. Now, I've tried to leave a lot of that to Leif and Fraser to make the choices themselves, but we've had to make some collective decisions regarding the structuring of the programs, and those are always challenging. And of course, timelines get challenging as well. Now that we're down to into the final 2 weeks of the program, we're a little pressed for editing time, but we think it's all going to come together. Anyway, it's been a very worthwhile project, and has also been exciting to hear about all the great projects, environmental projects that are going on in Lillooet. There's a huge amount of work being done here, and that's been a real delight to learn more about.